Alright, welcome back to the channel, guys. I know it's been a little while since my last video, but I was doing some work with the AMG, and I went ahead and I got my new heat exchanger installed, and I got the icebox in the trunk installed. So I'm going to show you guys what I did here. I'm going to show you the trunk real quick and kind of what I did here. So without further ado, I got there's the trunk tank. It really wasn't a bad install, but the only downer to this part is this is actually a little bit higher than the actual where the mat goes in here. So I'm not going to be able to put the cubby thing right here or the mat back over it, but I probably will be able to make a new platform for it here and kind of just block it off right here, so this will stick out a little bit, but I can still use this part of the trunk. I would like to do that. But yeah, the trunk, this tank, is a 2.5 gallon tank. Is actually a fuel cell, but I was able to use it as a water tank. And it's the dash 10 ANs on it. They come with these little block offs on them, both top and bottoms. But these ones I bought, had to get a 90, and then I ran a connector to a 5/8 aluminum hose or aluminum tubing, because yeah, you got to bend it. So that's why the bends are a little weird, but hey, it works real good. But yeah, I ran these all the way under and did a weird loop-de-loop and a swivel thingy over the axles and everything to get over past it. That was the most challenging part, and then pretty much just sent it the whole way up along the side underneath a couple little things and bent them around some doodads and thingies. And then I used, I don't know if I can show you guys or not, but yeah, it worked pretty good. The heat exchanger I got is a PLM heat exchanger. We'll go up to the front here and see if you can see it. I just put the one thing in, but yeah, it's parked back in here. It's not really the most ideal spot, but yeah, you can see the heat exchanger. And you know, it's a little bit bigger than the old one, but it works pretty good. The install was actually pretty simple, besides taking off this stupid bumper and these crazy clips and nonsense. But yeah, that sucked. That really sucked, actually. But yeah, overall, I mean, the install wasn't that bad, but thought I'd let you guys see so far the setup. Yeah, this holds, like I said, it's 2.5 gallons. You kind of twist this and it pops up, and you get all your coolant in there, which I pretty much filled it up. It was probably about 3 gallons or so of coolant and water. And yeah, just those run all the way up. And I guess I can show you guys real quick of what I did up in the front, because I used all the original hoses from the supercharger, all the soft lines and everything, and I used them for this. So there wasn't much, I didn't really need a whole lot. Alrighty, guys. After like 15 minutes trying to search for my keys, I'll show you guys what I did here now. Alright. So, behind, let me take off this little snorkel here. Okay. So pretty much, you're, oh, if I can turn this thingy on. There it is. Alright. So I was very confused. It took me like an hour just to kind of understand how they had the original like looped circuit on this thing. Because yeah, so this is your cold, your feed, and then this would be your return line. So underneath, so your main line goes to the pump. My new line comes to the pump, and then the pump, well actually it is now the return line. So this is actually your feed, or no, this is your return now, and then my feed goes up to it, goes through the heat exchanger, and then pumps up, back up through the cold side, and then back around. So the only thing I actually used was there's about a foot piece of heater hose that I just had laying around, so I was able to use that as my return part. And then I actually unhooked it from the actual return line before it that came up and hooked to here. I actually just used that and bent it down. It has some like bends in it that actually match perfectly, so you can bend it all the way down and underneath the car, and then over top of the whatever it's called, the stabilizer link bar. So you can kind of go over there and connect it directly to the return feed, my hard line that I have now. So yeah, I used pretty much all of the same OEM hoses that were on it, except for this little piece as my new return line. But yeah, it was actually pretty simple to set up. I had a little bit of a hard time filling the heat exchanger up after it drained, so that was the most difficult part. So I actually I took off this this feed line again, or actually this one, the cold intake one, the charge one. So I took that off and put my old little reservoir back on there. Let me know where it is. Oh, that one, that little BMW one that went up here. So I took that off, and then I plugged it in. I was able to fill it up and then kind of force air, like breathing into it, and that forced the coolant into the heat exchanger. So I did that a few times and filled that up. Then after that, it was pumping and pumped all the air out of the system, and it worked pretty good right now. It was crazy how much heat actually went through there. Just by driving it maybe 15 minutes, it already was coming out just a little bit warm, the water, and it's already like in the mid 40s right now. So it's definitely going to work a lot better, having almost 3 gallons of coolant going through here with a bigger heat exchanger to keep this thing cool. So did that, and now got a few other little things I would like to do, but for the most part, it's done. As far as the shaking goes on those wheels, I believe it is now gonna be a maybe a bent rim is pretty much my last guess. So yeah, guys, I saw there's something going on with it. I'm not sure exactly what it is yet, but it has all new. After I went through everything again, I replaced all the suspension parts. I did the torque struts, or whatever you want to call them, the lower control arms, upper control arms, all ball joints with the Lemforder ones. Like, they're real good quality. I did all of those. So all the suspension has been replaced with that stuff. A fresh alignment from Mercedes, and there's still a shake around, like, it starts around 50, and then right past like 75 it kind of goes away a little bit. So it seemed like there's something with a balancing issue, which then I went and got the tires balanced 3 different times. So did all of that, and they were all in spec. Nothing wrong with those. So they're still wobbly a little bit. There's a little flutter. So that's pretty much the only thing that I can think of that could be wrong, is a bent rim. But I got to go and try to figure out a place I can go to get it checked out at least. So I'm going to do that, and then hopefully I can figure that out soon. But again, it's the end of the season now, so we'd like to hit up the dyno one more time. We went a couple months ago, but the car did not like it at all. When I had this reservoir on here, it just kept, for some reason, spewing out. And actually, I'll show you this real quick. If it's not gonna hump, it's gonna spill everywhere. Yeah, like my flip-flops and socks. Yep. But yeah, so I use this little reservoir thing, and with it, if I can find the cap, actually, where'd the cap go? I want to show you guys. There it is. All right, so the cap on this thing, rated this thing, was a whatever you call it, like a little breather tube or something. But there was like a little hole in here that let air come out of it. But I didn't realize that with a split cooling system, when you put those in there, they actually, that hose was the main pressured hose. So when you tie into that with the split cooling and have your line coming straight up out of it, out of the T, that is actually pretty much pressurizing that container with the water that's going through there instead of just going through the system. It's actually pushing that out of the reservoir as well. So, and being real hot, it started spewing it out of that little hole, and then fluid was just going everywhere, all over the engine. And when we're on the dyno, it literally spewed about 15 feet away because it was just, yeah, it couldn't go anywhere. It gets rising and expanding. So I put a screw in it, and then after I did that, it started like bursting at the seams of the can then. So altogether, just not a good idea to use that at all. And it was too hot. The car was just getting so heat soaked. It barely put any power down. It was just pulling so much timing out of it, just trying to keep it somewhat cool. But now we fixed everything, got the heat exchanger, the ice tank, and then I'll be able to put whatever else in there. So it should be good. I should get some decent numbers as of now. And then later on, well, real soon, I'm taking off this magnetic, whatever this magnet on here. It's too heavy. It's, for some reason with this, every time the car will spin out or do a burnout or something, and you just let off the throttle, this belt will just screech really bad when it lets go and it catches. And I'm believing it's this. There's just too much weight behind it continually turning that, so it's making the belt slip a little bit. So I want to take that off anyway, and then maybe later on down the road I'll get a 72 millimeter pulley, and then we'll do that and then hopefully do E85 conversion and some long tube headers, and then that should give me the max potential out of this whole vehicle. And now I have the correct cooling, all the mods with that. So if I do the E85, I won't need methanol, which is a plus, but I have it. I have the kit, everything here, but I don't want to take that supercharger off again and drill holes into it. I'm not about that. So E85 will take care of all that, and it's a simple conversion. And all I need is, actually I have my shorty injectors out there already. So I have more than enough to do everything. So just waiting. Will give us some plans for next year. So for now, I got all this stuff done. Hopefully I get to the dyno hopefully soon, and I'll take you guys along with me. And yeah, we can see what kind of numbers the 74 millimeter pulley puts out now that I have the correct cooling. And hopefully we can get somewhere around the 500, maybe 510 wheel. I'd be very happy with anything above 500 at this point. So the setup should get me there, but hey, you know, everything can happen. So we'll see. If I'm close to 500, I'll be happy with it. And yeah, so hopefully you guys like this video. I don't like to babble on too much, but yeah, this is a little update of everything that I've done so far with the trunk tank and that. So yeah, if you guys like this video, like it, subscribe if you're not. Thank you for all my subscribers, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.